I'm Mike Kinderleiter with PowerWash.com at PowerWash University, and today I want to talk to you about the features and benefits of the Maverick Soft Wash system. This happens to be a really great unit for guys that are getting started into the power washing business, or if you like the 12-volt systems, it's a great system to keep using and keep growing your business with. But I'm going to talk about what's on the Maverick. It has a 12-volt, 7-gallon-a-minute pump on it with an accumulator tank. The accumulator tank is very beneficial because this has a micro switch on it and it reduces the pulsation in there, so your micro switch lasts a lot longer, and that micro switch has a certain amount of life. So we have a accumulator tank on here that extends the life of that micro switch. So that's why it's on there. Some people wonder why we add the accumulator tank. That helps. It also builds a little more pressure in there, so when you pull the trigger, you get a smoother flow when it comes out the end of your wand. When we put this machine on a trailer or the back of the truck, it comes equipped ready to go right into a 55-gallon tank. This drop tube just has banjo fittings on it that couple on here real easy. Just slide it on, attach it, and now if you have your concentrated bleach in a 55-gallon tank or whatever it is, but this will fit right perfect into 55 gallons, you just drop it into your 55-gallon tank. And then for your batching tank, where you're gonna mix your blend, we have it set up so that you can do it right on site, real easy. You just switch this 3-way ball valve to this side. That's the direction it's gonna flow. You pull your bleach, put it into your mixing tank, turn on the pump, add the amount of bleach that you want. Once that's done, add your water, add your surfactant, and you're ready to go. Flip it back around so that when you turn the pump back on again, it's gonna flow into your hose reel. Let me turn this around so I can show you that. We have 200 feet of chemical resistant hose on here, another banjo fitting so it's easy to roll up and store. Let me hook this up real quick for you and show you how that works. So now that's ready to go. Let me pull it out just a little bit. There we go. Now I got my trigger gun, we got the wand, and it comes with a J-rod that has an assassin nozzle for making those high reach places. You can hit 2 to 3 stories with this. Then where you get lower and you want to use a fan tip, have a 25 degree, a 40 degree, and a 65 degree. So if you're walking the surface and you want to spray, these other nozzles are going to come in very handy, especially like a 65 for right in front of you. You're doing walls, vertical surfaces, then that comes real good. And again, those 2 to 3 stories is for the assassin nozzle at the top. I think I got everything there. So that's the Maverick soft wash system. Again, it's a great starter system for those looking to get into the soft wash field, and a lot of guys that have been doing it for a long time love 12-volt systems. This is their go-to unit, and we sell a ton of these. So if you got any questions or anything we can do to help you, give us a shout. We'll be happy to answer your questions. The Stallion is a gas-powered soft wash unit that has a diaphragm pump from Comet. This is a great unit. It's super solid. I like these systems a lot. Probably the best thing about this is that it's gas-powered. It's not electric, so you don't have to charge a battery or anything. You just add gas to it and you're ready to go. The inlet on this pump will go to a batch tank, so you want to batch with this particular system. So you have your batching inlet here to go to it. And when you get ready to mix your bleach or add your bleach into your batch tank, this bypass hose will go into your batch tank. That's where you're gonna go back into it, and it'll just keep agitating. It'll mix your bleach and your water and your surfactant. It'll keep it all in a great blend. And when you get ready to pull the trigger, it's just gonna flow right out to the end of the gun. So that's the difference between a 12-volt system and this gas system, is that when you let off the trigger, that water's gonna go back into your mixing tank, and it's just gonna keep blending. It'll go into circulation until you pull the trigger again, and then it flows off. So when you're ready to start adding your bleach into your batch tank, you're gonna take your inlet hose to the pump, put in your bleach. This is already in your batch tank. Add the amount of bleach that you want, switch back to your water tank, add water to your mixing tank, add your surfactant, Let this run for 20 or 30 seconds or a minute. Then you're ready to go out and apply your solution. Simply gonna hook up your hose to your gun and wand. So we got our trigger gun here, we have our wand, and it comes with a J-rod. The J-rod has an assassin nozzle on it so you can shoot to high distances. And then it has a 25 degree, a 40 degree, and a 60 degree tip. So you can do those lower vertical surfaces as you come down with a 25 and 40, and then a 65 on the ground where you can spray right in front of you and cover a lot of space. The great thing about this machine is that it puts out 10 gallons a minute, so you can go super, super fast with this machine. It has 200 foot of hose on it, so you can reach out there and get to your locations and things that you need. The other thing that you can do with this particular unit is that you can add the Sidewinder to it. So you can blend and you don't have to do the batching process. And we have a way to plumb that and stuff, just get with us. Or you can buy it that way, we'll set it up for you, it works great. You can get this with a 50-gallon tank or a 100-gallon tank to go with it on the skid. So that's the Stallion system. It is an absolute beast and a hard-working, solid system. I highly recommend it. If you've got questions, we'll be happy to answer them for you. Just let us know. I'm about to demonstrate how our Stallion mixing station works, but before I do, just want to remind you to wear your safety gear. I got my safety glasses on, my gloves, and I got on rubber boots. And normally working with bleach, you're going to want to have a mask on that is rated for organic gases. I don't have bleach in here, I'm just demoing it. So we're just going to go through the steps here, but I want to remind you, you need to wear that when you're applying bleach to be safe. So let's get started. Let me show you what the mixing station does. So what it does, instead of having to do a batch mix with your blend, you can instead put everything in a separate tank. So I have a water tank here, I have a surfactant tank, and I have a bleach tank. And all these valves lead back to each one of these tanks. So my first one goes back to the water tank, my middle one goes back to our surfactant tank, and my third one goes back to the bleach tank. To apply the mix, we'll just adjust the valves so that we can get the mix that we want to come out. So it's real simple, it's easy to do, and if you find that you're going from job to job and you need a different strength mix, all you do is adjust your water, your surfactant, and your bleach to get a different blend. Sometimes you're doing a roof, you need a strong mix of bleach. Sometimes you're doing a house, you need a weak blend of bleach, or weaker blend. That's just all it takes to do it. You just come in here, do some fine tuning and adjustment, and then you go on. So with the Sidewinder series, we have two models. We have the regular Sidewinder and we have the Pro series. One of the things I really like about this Pro series is that it comes with the GF metering valves, which means that they are true metering valves. The inside of them meters very well and can meter the blends very precisely. The other, that's not the Pro series, has Pentair metering valves in them, and those metering valves are so-so, they're okay, they'll work, but if you want to get very precise, this is the Pro series and this is the way you want to go. Because we're using apple blossom as our surfactant in this Stallion skid system, I went back and put some bleach in there because as we apply a color marking dye surfactant, we want that bleach to fade that color marking dye. And the reason there's a color marking dye in apple blossom is so you can see where you applied it. It makes it real simple, user friendly. That's why apple blossom works so great. Not to mention, it's a great surfactant for bleach, it makes it work better and all that great stuff. But I'm demonstrating the Sidewinder, so I'm going to continue with that. So now we've got that set up. Let me start up the machine, and I actually set all the dials, but I'm going to turn them off. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So once we get started, I'm going to turn on the water. I'm going to turn it on all the way. I'm going to crank my surfactant open, and you can mix the surfactant blend at different strengths so you can dial in better here. But because we have it at full strength in there, I just barely got to turn it on. That's all I need. And then I'm going to turn my bleach up about a half a turn into this, anywhere from 1/3 to a half a turn. And I'm going to fire up my, my unit here and get going. So to shoot the top of the building, I'm going to use our assassin nozzle. I'm going to wait for the surfactant mix to come out, and it'll start showing up in this hose here. It'll start to turn red. There we go. It's in the line. Now I'm going to spray. Wait till I see that surfactant come out. It'll be mixed with the bleach. Then I'll see my color marking dye. That's another nice thing about having a color marking dye, is that you can see it as it comes out the hose. Real user friendly. I'm going to go ahead and apply it. Kind of got a slight breeze behind me, so I'm going to get upwind so it's not blowing back on me. Now that I'm lower, I'm going to switch over to a fan tip. There we go. And if you notice up above, because the bleach is mixed in with this color marking dye will fade, because the bleach fades the dye, so it goes away. Now I'm going to put it on rinse, and I'm going to rinse off the wall. Turn my surfactant off, turn my bleach off. Got my water wide open. I'm going to wait till I bleed it out of the line, and then I'll rinse the wall off. And the great thing about the Sidewinder is it's a mixing station that will blend the bleach, the water, and surfactant for you, and you can adjust it on the spot. So you're not having to batch your mix anymore. You can do it on demand when you get to a job site. If you're doing a roof, you need a higher concentration. If you're doing siding, you need lesser concentration, and the same thing for sidewalks, wherever you want to put a bleach on. That's a great thing about the Sidewinder, and it's the GF high-end metering valves that are excellent. So if you got questions, let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. So in close, my daughter's puppy Milo says, buy from PowerWash.com and PowerWash University. I'm going to demonstrate how the dual port injector works. Now, the reason we recommend using a dual port injector is because we sell apple blossom, and apple blossom has a color marking dye in it. And that dye, when mixed with bleach, will fade anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how you blend it together. But what we have is a dual port mixing kit that comes with a metering valve on it. And this allows you to meter the apple blossom that goes into the downstream injector and blends with the bleach as it goes out to your wand and onto the surface. So I'm going to hook it up at the end of the hose reel. There we go. And now with apple blossom, it's a concentrated surfactant. So it's got a lot of dye and it's got a lot of surfactant in it. If you pull it straight from the bottle and go in here, you're gonna have such a small dial in on the metering valve. But this is meant to be mixed for 1 gallon to 5 gallons. I've already put my blend in here for what I want inside this 5-gallon container. We have our bleach, that's 50-50, 12.5%, so we're right at 6% there. That gives us the mix we want to have when we downstream onto this wall or siding, which normally is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start the machine and I'm gonna apply it here and I'll show you how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna open up the metering valve. First, I'm gonna make sure it's closed all the way, and I'm gonna turn it a half a turn. All right, start the machine. So it doesn't take long for it to draw through the tube. We should start seeing the dye here pretty quick. There we go. Now I'm just going to apply it. So there we go, and you can start to see now it's already starting to fade. If we wanted it to last longer, we could put more dye. I could turn up the dial, or if I wanted less, I could turn down the dial on the metering valve. It works really good that way. That's a nice thing about having the metering valve on the dual port injector. And for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to wait this out a little bit so that color marking dye fades, and then I'll start rinsing. All right, so now we're getting to where it's almost 100% faded at the top. Still has a little bit at the bottom. I don't know if it's showing up in the camera or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and start rinsing it off. I still have a little bit in my line, so I gotta bleed it out. There we go. So that's how the dual port downstream injector mix kit works. You got the dual port injector with a metering valve on it that allows you to blend the apple blossom and the bleach together so that when you're applying it, it has the maximum effect for the color marking dye. So if you've got any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Just give us a shout. I want to talk to you about the features and benefits of our new Wolverine. Oh man, I love this new machine. It is all stainless steel frame and it's on a really small footprint. So at the maximum width, it's 27 inches and then it's 48 inches long. It was designed specifically for those of you who want to put it on a trailer, you want to put it on a truck, and it take up a super small footprint. So you're maximizing your space on your equipment, and you can do more with your trailer or your vehicle because your power washer isn't taking up so much area. That's the two things that I really like about this machine. The base frame is all welded together. This is not a bent and spot welded frame. It is stainless steel with solid welds. It's going to hold together a long time. So let's talk about some other features that it comes with. So it has two 7-gallon tanks on here, one for diesel and one for gas. The pump can either come in a 4-gallon a minute at 4,000 PSI, it come at 5.5 gallon a minute at 3,500 PSI, or it can come at 8 gallon a minute at 3,000 PSI. And then you have the optional clutch that can go on your pump. I like having clutches. I run clutches on just about everything that I own in my contract cleaning side. And the reason I do that is because it preserves the life of the pump. So when you let off the trigger, there's no excess wear and tear going on. It's not just sitting there running and moving those cylinders back and forth and wearing out your packing, things of that nature, the internal components of your pump. The clutch is a great piece of machinery to add to your machine. It also comes with the trigger gun, 50-foot of pressure hose, and the wand. That's part of the system. And then it comes standard with a Briggs & Stratton 23 horsepower. Briggs & Strattons, we run them on all our equipment. They work great, but if you're a fan of Honda, you can also upgrade to a Honda on this and get it as well. You get the standard 4 sets of nozzles, a 0 degree, a 15 degree, a 25, and a 40 degree. It has an hour gauge on it, the burner switch for on and off, and it also has the thermostat adjustment, so you can set the temperature that you want to run on the machine. Again, I think this is a spectacular unit. I love this piece of machinery. If there's any questions you have, we'll be happy to answer them. Just let us know. We have Sapit here. This is a great roof washing surfactant that you add to your bleach. One of the nice things about adding a surfactant to your bleach when roof washing with Sapit is that it has an awesome cover scent that smells like cedar or pine. And a lot of customers like that. A lot of the contractors that buy it like that scent. So it's a matter of preference, but it works really good. And it has a really high foaming agent in it, so that when you spray on the roof, it slows the evaporation and slows down the runoff as it comes down the roof. So Sapit, a great product for roof cleaning. You can also do it for house washing and siding as well. You just cut it back so it doesn't foam quite as much. So that's how it works. If you got any questions, give us a call. Let us know, we'll be happy to answer them. I want to talk to you about MaxQuat real quick. MaxQuat is an awesome disinfectant for all kinds of things that get on surfaces, and this time where we're fighting COVID and stuff, this product has been used a lot. It's actually on the EPA N list, which means it's, I can't say approved, but it's recognized by the EPA, because some people say approved. EPA doesn't approve things, they just recognize products for being able to fight certain things. And it happens to be on the EPA N list for doing that. The great thing about this is it's super, super concentrated. So this 1 gallon jug of MaxQuat can make 256 gallons of product. It mixes at 1 to 2 ounces to 2.5 gallons. And it goes up from there. But if you get the product, we'll put the chart in there, you'll know how to blend it and mix it. And you can apply it with a fogger, electrostatic foggers. You can do it through a pump-up sprayer or mister, things like that. It will work in all applications. And it also has a neutral pH level, so it's not corrosive like bleach is. So you can put this on surfaces, let it dry, not worry about it corroding or having damaging effects on the surface or things that you apply it to. MaxQuat, great product. If you've got questions, we're happy to answer them. Just let us know. Fresh Wash is a bleach enhancer that helps your bleach penetrate the surface better, which means it's going to react better. It'll take less bleach to clean with. It gives it some hang time because it foams. This happens to be not a really, really high foaming product. It has rinse additives in it, so when you go back to rinse after you applied it, it cleans up really good. You have less problem with windows. Primarily used for house washing, but it can also be used on the roof too, so don't be afraid to use it there either. Great product. It's a matter of preference which one you want, because we have the floral scent and the lemon scent. If you've got questions, feel free to ask and we'll answer. Apple Blossom is a bleach enhancer. It's high foaming, has an apple scent to it, and it also has a color marking dye. So when it mixes with the bleach, the color marking dye, as you spray it, will go onto the surface. You can see where you sprayed, and given anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how strong of a mix you make, it will stay on the surface and the color will fade. It's not a permanent dye, so it's temporary, which makes this such an awesome product. So if you got new guys or you're wanting to demonstrate for customers or things like that, it works out great. And we get a lot of compliments on the apple scent here. So that's pretty cool. The other thing about Apple Blossom is it's very concentrated. So before you even use this to pull it through a mixing station or a downstream injector or to get ready to put it onto the surface, you're gonna wanna cut this 1 gallon to 4 gallons of water. It makes 5 gallons of concentrate ready to use through your downstream injector or your mixing station. If you pull it right out of here, it's going to be super, super strong and it'll be hard to dial in. So if you got questions about Apple Blossom and how it works, feel free to ask those questions and we'll get them answered. I want to share with you the features and benefits of gutter butter. Gutter butter is great for cleaning gutters and removing oxidation or painted surfaces, painted siding, stuff like that. It's a great product for removing those things, and it's primarily used for cleaning gutters. It happens to be one of my friend's kids' businesses that has put this together. They actually put their name on it when they label it, and all the profits go to the kids and it's used for them for their future. So gutter butter, great product. You're supporting a young child's future when you do it. So if you got questions on how it works, please let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. I want to talk to you about the features and benefits of Rust Remover Plus. This product is spectacular at removing iron oxide or rust stains from surfaces. So anywhere where you had a metal sitting there, or you have iron that's coming up from a sprinkler system or such, and it's spraying on those areas, this is an excellent product for removing those rust stains. Generally want to cut this anywhere from 1 to 1 to 1 to 5 when you apply it. You just got to figure out what mix works best for you. And real simple to use. And the cool thing about it is when you apply it, it's kind of like magic. You just watch it disappear. Then you power wash the surface, clean it real good, and you're done. It's that simple. So Rust Remover Plus, if you got questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Just let us know. Mike Kinderleiter here with PowerWash.com at PowerWash University, and in this video we're going to do an unboxing of the X-Jet M5 and a demonstration. I want to show you the X-Jet. This is a great product for applying all kinds of things, but the best one that's primarily used for is applying bleach and for soft washing. You don't need soft wash equipment or anything like that. You can use an existing power washer, and it's going to quick couple right to the end of your gun or your wand. And then you're going to take the draw tube. You'll hook it up here onto the barb, quick couple it to your gun or your wand. And the nice thing about this particular X-Jet is it has an M5 nozzle on it. So when you twist the M5 nozzle, you can get like a 0-degree tip or a fan tip. It makes it real easy to apply at high distances and lower distances or lower surfaces for your solution. And then it also has this ball valve on it that can turn it on and off. So you're not having to pull your nozzle off or change your nozzle or anything. You just turn it on and then you turn it off. The other thing that the M5 X-Jet is it comes with these different tips, metering tips that go into it. The metering tips simply insert inside this hose barb underneath, and then you put the hose back on over it. And if you're wondering which metering tip you should use, it comes with color codes on here, along with what the size tip and what metering ratios they are. And you also got a card that has it on here as well. So it's easy to figure out what you should do when you're trying to decide what strength of application that you want to put on the surface. So that's the X-Jet M5, and if you got questions, let us know. We'll be happy to answer them for you. So now I'm going to connect the X-Jet M5 to the end of my wand here. I'm going to start it up and demonstrate how it works. So I've turned the nozzle all the way to the right, which gives me relatively close to a 0-degree tip. And when I turn it all the way back to the left, I get a fan pattern. This is really slick because now I'm not having to switch between nozzles. I just turn it real quick and go back and forth. And when I'm ready to apply my mixed solution, I turn the ball valve on, pull the trigger, and there you go. I'm applying solution. And if I need to shoot high, go back to the 0-degree, and now I can apply it that way. And when I'm ready to rinse, turn the ball valve off, and I'm on rinse. I want to point out that because I'm applying it here at the end of the tip, turning this ball valve on and off is immediate. I don't have to flush the line or anything. I immediately go to rinse. Or I immediately go to my mix solution. Now let me turn the machine off. Release the pressure on the tip. So again, this is how the X-Jet M5 works. You have this great feature here on the end of the tip that spins back and forth between a 0 degree and a fan tip. You have the ball valve to turn your mix on or off. Right now it's in the off position. Turn it in line, it's in the on position. Turn it where it's across the line, it's in the off position. Really simple stuff. So that's how the X-Jet M5 works. So if you got questions on how we can get you set up, please ask, we'll be happy to answer. Have a safe and successful day. Today, I want to tell you about our new truck skid that has a power washing system on it and a soft wash system. But before we get into all the equipment that's on this, I want to tell you about the skid itself and how we've built and constructed this. First thing I want to point out is the base plate and the mounting plates over here, and a lot of the supporting metal that goes with it is 1/4 inch aluminum. It's super strong, and one of the things that we did with this to give it a lot of extra strength is we've actually rolled the aluminum on the side so it's got a C channel that gives a lot of support and structure to that base plate and these plates on the side. Then we went through underneath and added 4-inch channel so that when you go to lift it up with the forklift, you got plenty of support all the way through to the front. Now obviously you don't want to do this with full tanks or anything, you want to get all the weight off of it as you can, but it is very solid and structured to last. All the components and stuff on this skid, including the equipment itself, are corrosion resistant. We're using aluminum, stainless steel, things that are going to hold up to bleach. So it's built to last and give you long life. But I want you to keep in mind that what we have on here is not what you have to buy. We can set this skid up to customize for your needs. So let me talk about the equipment that's on the truck. So let me start with the soft wash system, which is our Stallion. This machine is a beast. It can go up to 9.6 gallons a minute at 140 PSI. So to complement the Stallion, we have our Sidewinder mix station. The mix station allows you to blend the water, the bleach, and the surfactant. And you can dial it into your specific needs for doing a siding wash, to apply to concrete, to do roof washing, all the different levels of blending that you need to do the job correctly without having to stop and create a new batch each time you want to clean a surface. And then we have the hose reels. There's 3 hose reels on the system, and they are stainless steel with a poly base, so they're corrosion resistant. On this side we have the water hose to fill up the holding tank, and then on the other side we have the soft wash reel and the pressure washing hose. So let me show you that real quick. So then on this side of the truck, which is the passenger side, or you want to refer to it as the curb side, this is where you're going to roll your soft wash hose or your pressure washing hose right up to the house or a commercial property without having to pull up in a driveway and try to work around it. You can work right from the street. It makes it super simple and easy. You just roll the hose out and then roll it right back up when you're done. And on these particular reels, they're 18 inches and you can hold up to 300 foot of hose of soft wash, pressure wash, or water hose on any one of them. So you've got a lot of distance to put on these hoses to get the job done. The other thing I like about these hose reels is they have this locking mechanism on the side so that when you're finished, after rolling out the hose, then rolling it back up, you lock it into place, which keeps your hose from rolling out when you're going down the road. I've been a contractor for a long time. I've had employees that work for me. And if you happen to not lock these and they roll out going down the road, well, there goes your hose, not to mention the safety hazard it can create by potentially creating an accident. And no one wants to have that. So let me go into what equipment we have in the back of the truck now. So here we have the pressure washer. This particular system is our Prowler. The Prowler comes in several models, which at a 4 gallon a minute at 3,500 PSI, it could come at 5.5 gallons a minute at 3,500 PSI, And with this particular model, it's an 8 gallon a minute at 3,000 PSI. One of the things I really like about this particular unit is its frame that's built over the gas tank. It keeps it on a really tight footprint, so it takes up less space on whatever skid or wherever you're gonna put it. Makes this an optimal machine to use in mobile pressure washing. It has an 8 gallon gas tank underneath this frame. The other thing that we have on this Prowler, which is optional, is it has a clutch. The clutch allows the pump to disengage when you let off the trigger, and that will extend the life of your pump, create less wear and tear, which means less downtime and need for maintenance on your pump. So you're out producing and you have a lot more reliable piece of equipment to make money. Now let's talk about what's behind the Prowler. So inside the skid behind the Prowler, we have a 20 gallon bleach tank, and then we have two 7 gallon surfactant tanks. We find that there's a lot of contractors that like to use more than one surfactant, so that gives you the ability to switch back and forth between a surfactant or a soap that you may want to use with the soft wash system or your pressure washer. Then we have a 100 gallon holding tank, or buffer tank as some people like to call it. Now that's the way we set the tanks up on this particular skid, but I want to remind you that we can set up the tanks however you want. We can customize this to fit your specific needs. The other thing I want to point out is that it can make you a lot of money with one guy or two guys, however you want to run the truck. It's got a power washing system, it's got a soft wash system. You could have a guy doing flat work or doing the concrete cleaning while another guy's doing the soft wash. So with this system, you can be very efficient with one truck, without a trailer. You've got all this equipment on the back of it. It's put together nicely, so it's easy to work on and fix things when you need to. So on this particular system, it's a cold water power washer. We could actually put a hot water skid back here, which we have is our new Wolverine, all stainless steel, again, corrosion resistant, and it's a hot water machine on a very small footprint that will fit very easily on the back of this skid. This is a 6-foot bed on this truck. We can build these for an 8-foot bed, and again, customize the build particularly for your desired cleaning methods. And with the soft wash system, this is our gas-powered soft wash system here. We could put a 12-volt system on there if you prefer a 12-volt system. A lot of guys like to use those too, and we're happy to accommodate whatever system you need. That's our new truck skid, man, and I think it's super awesome. And if you've got questions about how we can build a system for you, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Have a safe and successful day. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the Prowler power washer that we have on it and our Stallion soft wash system. So the Prowler power washer that we have here is an 8 gallon a minute system at 3,500 PSI, and the Stallion soft wash system can operate at up to 9.6 gallons a minute at 140 PSI. So I'm going to start off at demonstrating the Stallion soft wash system. So we have the soft wash gun and wand, and I always like to set these up with a J-rod that has a assassin nozzle on it for a high distance or long range. And then we have varying degrees of fan tips on here for doing lower heights, which normally is a 25 degree, a 40 degree, or a 60. It just depends on what you like, but I like 25 and 40. So let me put that in. I'm going to use the assassin nozzle for height so I can show you next to the building here. Let me undo the lock on the hose reel. Roll out the hose. So nice little feature we do is we put these cam locks on here so you can connect and disconnect your wand and gun, so it's easy to roll up the hose when you're finished and store the wand and gun on the truck. Nice little space. Let me roll it out just a little bit here. And then lock the hose reel. So when I'm pulling and releasing the trigger, this doesn't just keep rolling out. So I'm gonna move around to the other side of the truck and start up the Stallion. So this is the Stallion soft wash system right here. It's gas powered with the diaphragm Comet pump. I love these systems because they're extremely durable and they've got a lot of power. They can push water far distances and they hold up a long time. We've complemented this Stallion with the Sidewinder mix station. So before I start it up, I'm gonna set my dials to blend the water. So I'm gonna turn the water all the way on. I'm gonna turn on my bleach, and I'm gonna turn on my surfactant. So on this Sidewinder, I have a 3-way ball valve underneath so I can select from 2 different surfactants. On this one, I have Apple Blossom or I have Fresh Wash. Right now, I have the ball valve selected for Apple Blossom, or if I want to switch over to Fresh Wash, I can just turn the valve over and now I have Fresh Wash. But I'm going to keep it on Apple Blossom because I just love Apple Blossom. It's got a great apple cover scent, and it's got a color marking dye in it so I can see where I'm spraying. It makes it super easy to see where you've applied your mix. So let me start up the system and walk around to the other side and then spray it on the building. I just want to remind you that I have all my safety gear. So I've got on my boots, my gloves, my eyeglasses. The one thing that I don't have is a respirator. I highly encourage you that you wear a respirator when you're working with bleach. I'm not doing it today because I want you to be able to pick me up on the mic and I don't want to muffle my voice. But normally I would have on a respirator, and you want to get one that's rated for bleach. Usually it's going to say organic gas on it, and then you're good. So let me start up the unit and we'll get going here. So I've got it set with the Assassin nozzle, which is our long-range nozzle. And this is a 2-story building. It's about twice the height of the building. So I can probably get close to 4 stories, maybe a 5th, I'm not sure. If I could tinker it with a little bit, I could probably get some more height. But for demonstration purpose, that's what I want to show you. And as the Apple Blossom comes out here, we'll start to see that red color marking dye and it'll foam up. So there we go. Now we've got it. I'm just going to apply it to this first little section here. And if you watch the top, you'll begin to notice that dye is starting to fade. I'm going to hit the next section. And I'm just going to switch over to a fan tip so you can kind of get an idea. I'm going to put a wider fan tip in. Now I'm going to go put the machine on rinse. And if you happen to notice, I didn't quite go all the way to the top, because I'm going to have to bleed the line anyway. Just a little tip for when you're switching back and forth. Always leave a section where you can bleed out the line and use your product and you don't waste it. And the more you work with your system, the more you'll get the timing down on how long it takes to bleed out the system. So we're almost there. We'll get it here pretty quick. There we go. So now I've got the rinse. I'll switch back over to my assassin nozzle so it can reach the top of the building real good. I'll switch back to my fan tip to do the lower portion. Now I'm going to go turn the machine off. And I'm going to turn my water. And the next thing I'm going to demonstrate is the prowler. But before I do, let me talk about popular surfactants that we have and that we use, because I talked about them just a minute ago. All of these enhance the effectiveness of bleach. So it'll clean better, it'll penetrate better, it'll stay on the surface longer, it won't dry as fast, and you'll end up using less bleach, and you'll get a better end result when you use these products. In addition, all of them are safe to use with bleach, meaning that they don't break the bleach down when you add it to them. There's a lot of contractors out there that use other products, but when you add it to bleach, it begins to break down the bleach and it doesn't clean as good. All of these are safe for bleach and it won't break down the bleach and dilute its ability to clean. Again, there's apple blossom, then there's sap it, which a lot of guys like to use for a roof. It's really high foaming and it has a cedar scent or evergreen scent to it. Then there's fresh wash, lemon scent, and floral scent. It's just a preference here for which one of these you want to use. For the fresh wash side, this foams a little less than most surfactants, which is intentional because some guys believe that's less rinsing, so they like less foam. That's fine. Some people want high foaming because it's a show for their customers. We get it. We just want to show you what works best for you. And again, the apple blossom, which people absolutely love because the apple smell, the high foaming, and the color marking dye. So there you have it with the surfactants. So now I want to demonstrate the prowler. And at 8 gallons a minute, this machine is great with the surface cleaner. It will really speed up your process for doing flat work. But for the most part, I'm just going to show you how we're going to clean the side of the building here. I've already rolled out the hose and locked in my hose reel. But one little cool thing I want to show you here is this comes in really nice for switching between a surface cleaner or a gun or just spraying from the end of the wand. Nice little ball valve setup. We sell these at PowerWash.com. But I'm going to hook it up here and then connect it to the end of our power wash hose. Right now I have it in the off position and turn it on, then turn it back off. And again, what makes this nice is that when it's in the off position, I don't have to go back and turn the machine off. I can just disconnect and hook it up to whatever device I want to go from there. Really cool. Does add a little weight, so if you're working on the end of the wand all the time, you may not want to have it, but it's super handy. So I'm going to demonstrate using our fresh wash solution. Basically, this is like a house wash mix I have here. It's 12% bleach cut 50-50 with water. I'm going to add some fresh wash to it. It comes in a gallon or 5 gallons, but I have it in here. Like I said, I got a 50-50 mix, so it's about a 6% mix of bleach right now. So I'm going to add 2 ounces of fresh wash in here. It makes it simple, or you could have a measuring cup so you can do more. But this is a 1 ounce little mixing kit here, right on the side. Put another ounce in there. Now I've added it to the solution. I'll put the lid on real quick. Just give it a little shake. Get it down in there. Drop our downstream injector. When this is at 6% and then I draw it through the downstream injector, I'm gonna knock it way down to like about a 0.5% or 1% at the most. Probably closer to 0.5% or less of bleach that I'm gonna be spraying on the side here. When you're doing siding cleaning or building washing on the side of a building, house, or whatever, that's a decent solution, but when you get ready to start cleaning a roof, you gotta have a much stronger mix. And that's why we have the soft wash system on here, so you can do a much higher concentration of bleach. Let me start it up and show you the distance and stuff we're gonna get out of the prowler. assassin nozzle or long range tip, you can see how high it shoots. Again, this is a 2-story building. And it looks to me from where I'm standing, it may not from the distance back, it's at least double to 2.5 times the height of this building. Which tells me we could hit 4 to 5 stories. 8 gallons a minute, 3,000 PSI. Of course, I don't have 3,000 PSI because I have a low pressure nozzle in there. So my downstream injector will draw in the house wash mix. So let me apply it to the surface here real quick. Now you can see how fast I just applied that to those 2 panels. That's what 8 gallons a minute can do for you in speeding up the job at making you highly productive and profitable. That's where sometimes I see people on social media talking about a 4 gallon a minute machine or a 3 gallon a minute or even a 2 gallon a minute machine with higher pressure. This is where volume can really play into making you a productive, competitive, and profitable power washing or cleaning business or soft washing. It's when you put volume out there, you can get this stuff done fast. Whoa! So I put in my 0 tip. That's the nice thing about having a downstream injector, is that when you go to high pressure, it stops drawing the soap. So now I can just rinse it off. So let me turn off the machine. Let me disconnect the wand. Put it back underneath here. Store it there. I'm gonna disconnect my soft wash wand and trigger gun from the, gosh darn it. Always remember to pull the trigger. There we go. So now I've got it disconnected. Return my draw tube. Now, actually before I do this, I need to get a gallon of water because I want to rinse all this out. You never want to leave bleach in your line. Like I rinsed out the soft wash system, I put water all through it, but I still have bleach in this and my downstream injector. It's always important to rinse that before you go to store it and go on to your next job because it'll increase the life because bleach is corrosive. Okay, so I got me a bucket of water. Nice little thing is that I have the ball valve here on the end, so it's in the off position so I can start the machine. I'm gonna switch my draw tube over into my water. Clear the line, you can see it going up through there. I'll just run it for about 30 seconds to a minute to draw that out of there. So now I've got my line cleared out. Turn that off. I've shut down the machine, and I always like to make sure I've released the pressure off the hose before I roll it up. I never like to leave pressure on my lines, just a personal preference. I think they last longer. Roll my hoses back up. And the nice thing about having these on the side of the truck, especially if you're working curbside at properties, is it rolls right out onto the property, the direction you need to roll it out. You're not stuck here from behind with all these kinks and stuff trying to get it rolled up. So it works out really good. Roll up my soft wash hose, stow it, lock it in place. Put my downstream hose back on here. Then stow on my product. And then we're good to go to the next job. So that's the demo for this truck skid. It has the Prowler power washing unit on it and the Stallion soft wash system. It's a 6-foot skid with a 100-gallon tank, a 20-gallon bleach tank, and 2 7-gallon soap or surfactant tanks. And keep in mind, it's a 6-foot skid. It could be an 8-foot skid. And we can set this up however you want it for your particular needs. Again, I'm Mike Hinterlader with PowerWash.com and PowerWash University. Just give us a shout. We can get you going. Let us know what you need. We can make it happen. Have a safe and successful day.